example at BMW. Let me now go to Mr. Walz, Tim Walz of Minnesota. Thank you, Tim.
Well, I thank the whip, and the gentleman from Maryland has been a champion on this very issue. And this is a hearing exactly what the folks in Minnesota and southern Minnesota want us to be talking about. I'm blessed to represent an area that CNBC just recognized as the top state to do business in. My district is hovering around 3% unemployment. We have a diversified economy, from a large agricultural base to the Mayo Clinic and other medical innovations, but also the third leg of that economic stool is manufacturing. We have hundreds of large and small manufacturing, places like Fastenal or Winona Canoes. We have Agco in Jackson building heavy farm equipment and tractors. Halcon, a high-end furniture manufacturer, and places like Angie's Kettle Corn that is blossomed out of a garage small business and become the nation's leading producer of specialty popcorns. And when I go throughout this district, the one thing is that the owners and the workers tell me we can compete against anybody. We'll outproduce them. We'll make better products. And now we're starting to see parity with China on that cost. The one thing they tell me is they can't find enough workers. Now, this is a good problem to have, you may think, but it doesn't change the bottom line, that expansion is being stopped because we don't have the workforce. We don't have the trained workforce. You heard it from my colleagues here talking about career and technical advances. And I'm here as a representative of those companies, but also as a teacher and a father of 2 young children thinking about the future. It's time for us in this country to have this conversation. Manufacturing and Make It in America is coming back. We need to get ready for that. We need to have the conversations with our children about the noble professions that are out there that you hear my colleagues talking about, that opportunity to walk down and get it in a high-tech factory. And it may not, as the gentleman from Mr. Himes said, may not look like the dirty factory with sparks flying that you would see, but we're still manufacturing lots of things. We're still doing what we need to do to build this country and to provide those middle-class jobs. And I would suggest this career and technical, we need to rethink, starting in high school, starting with the parents, starting with what are we doing to ensure that skill set is there. Plasma welders are in high demand in my district. That's something that we could be doing in high schools, adding value added. The community college mechatronics and some of the things they're doing could add to it. We've got high school kids 3D printing and no CAD drafting as well as anyone. We can start thinking about how we do our education system, the pre-K to whenever we get them hired. And I would suggest the optimism that's out there, the country is ready for this. They're ready to see this happen. They're ready to, when we hear of the excessive student loan debt, we see some of those types of things. We need to look at a broader approach to it, that it's coming back. And I would say as a corollary to this, or something we also need to think about, and I know that the gentleman, Mr. Hoyer, has thought about this, one of the issues we have now, too, is affordable workforce housing that goes hand in hand with this. I've got cities that are literally at 100% capacity. They cannot add anyone else. The city of Rochester and the Mayo Clinic, 35,000 people work at the Mayo Clinic in a town of 100,000. They are going to add 10,000 jobs by the end of this decade. That city is going to double in size with a $6 billion investment that's now being made there. We're going to need housing because they're at 1% availability right now. So the gentleman is doing the important work of bringing these issues up. You heard from some great entrepreneurs and folks speaking in the previous panel. You have folks that are thinking about how we get this in. My message that I would convey from those entrepreneurs and those CEOs out there is let's start thinking about providing the quality skill set to those students, those Americans that are ready to work there. Let us have them then. We'll build it in America. We'll make it in America, and we will compete against anyone. Just give us that base. I yield back.
Absolutely. I share the gentleman's passion and optimism, and so I thank him for coming with us. Now I want